Welcome to another edition of the Endless Cacophony podcast. It's a special one this time because Chris is with me.
I'm actually here, and it sucks. It's really horrible.
So we'll roll the intro.
The Endless Cacophony podcast.
Still hasn't changed.
No.
By this point, if you're expecting it to change, people, you're probably very much
It's
mistaken.
the intro song, isn't it?
It's now the intro.
It's
I've
the
actually
intro.
really grown to like it.
Good.
And I don't want to admit that. I've just admitted it.
No, that's too late.
all right.
Right.
So this is different this time.
Yeah. So basically, the main difference is that right now I'm making really, really strong eye contact with you.
You are, yeah. Normally we do these over. I think we do the audio between you and I on Discord normally.
Yeah, we're on Discord looking at each other.
Yeah, and I know we normally record these to individual tracks, etc. But this time, Chris has come to hang out for the day.
Yeah.
So we thought we'd record one in person.
Yeah.
That definitely won't go wrong.
No, it's definitely going to go wrong, and I already hate it. I just really hate it. It's like
it's too different.
I can see him. I can see his face, and
yeah.
usually I've got some kind of protection between me, so he can't.
Yeah.
It's not too real. I can smell him from here. It's all that kind of
We're
stuff.
in my little office as well, and I've shut the sound blanket so people can't hear what we're doing out, and
Yeah.
it's nice and cozy, and
I like it.
yeah.
It's a nice little place.
We haven't seen each other like in person since before UK lockdown started.
That's right.
And we haven't played 40k since February, maybe even before.
Maybe
Have you and I played this year?
No.
I don't think.
The last time I played was in January. I played Winters at the start of January.
I think you haven't played me either since. So
No.
that's shocking.
That's crazy, isn't it?
That's bad.
But new edition, we're moving into being able to visit each other again.
Yeah. So how you enjoy 9th edition, Chris?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying the stuff and the things with it.
What do you like most about playing 9th edition, Chris?
Oh, that bit. I haven't played 9th edition. I have not played a game of 9th edition yet. My fault. I've cancelled. I did have a game scheduled with Winters. I've cancelled that. Got too much stuff going on at the moment.
Yeah, fair.
So I haven't played it yet.
The world's crazy right now.
World's crazy right now, and not only that, but I'm also like running a little secret organisation on the side, so
if
I had
you
to cancel it.
Want a get out of jail free card, you could say that you were waiting for the Warhammer app to be decent before you play 9th edition.
Yeah, that is what.
My concern then is you might not play till 2030 or something.
Oh,
I know. I didn't want to be that negative about it.
He's going straight in with it.
Yeah, I sort of spoke to you about it roughly before we started. I kind of want to talk about the app on this podcast.
Yeah, I'm up for talking about it because I've got a start. I quite like it.
I'm really pissed off about the app. I'm really like. This was an opportunity, I think, for Games Workshop to do something incredible and really special. And I've always championed the iOS app as well.
Yep.
People have pointed out to us in the past that the iOS app is normally quite behind on updates. I didn't know that, but that aside,
it's still a good app when it's
in terms of
updated.
functionality, right?
Yeah.
It's decent. Then GW announced this. The timeline of events for me so far is I'll talk you guys through it. It's mental. So I had an email from Games Workshop from my my community rep saying you're going to get early access to the Warhammer app and you can do a review for it and stuff like that. I was like, oh, that sounds awesome. Okay, perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Reply to this email if you would like this access, and we'll set you up an account, and you'll get a week's free access to everything, so you can see how it works. You can do your review. Sounds amazing. Sounds really, really good.
Yeah.
So I replied to him on that Thursday and saying, yes, I would like access to the app, please. That'd be fantastic. And I had to get back to him before 3 p.m. and I got back to him about 2:58 because I was filming that day with, I think, Alex. Anyway, so I was in on time and I emailed him and said, did I get in on time? He's like, yes, you did. It's fine. Perfect. What I didn't realise at the time, and I reread the email afterwards because, like I said, at the time I was filming, was that the release date for content was 10 or 11 a.m. the next day.
Oh, boy.
So loads of time to test.
Yeah.
Right? So I thought, oh, brilliant. Anyway, throughout the rest of that day / evening, as I sat there patiently waiting for my email to give me a link to download the app, nothing came apart from 2 or 3 more other emails from the same individual from Games Workshop saying, we're having loads of problems. Problems.
Okay,
So by the time the date went, the NDA date and time lifted on the Friday, I still didn't have the app.
Oh, that's cool.
And actually no one on iOS had that app. Android they did.
Oh, right. Okay. This is the iOS bit. Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. We have an app, right? DeploymentZone.tv has an app on iOS.
Yeah.
And we have an app on Android. And with Android, the amount of proof you need to put your app on Android is, can I put my app on Android? And they go, yep.
Yeah.
And it's on the Google Play Store.
Yeah.
Apple are a massive pain in the backside.
But I appreciate it, though, because if you've been on the Android, the Google Play Store, there's like the maddest things.
There's
in there.
nonsense.
Yeah, like actual nonsense.
Yeah, absolute nonsense. I'm pretty sure somewhere there's an app that just asks for your credit card details.
Yeah.
People have probably downloaded it too. But iOS, they're a lot more fussy, right? They don't let you. So I think that may have been. So I sort of talked myself around and went, okay, it's probably because they didn't realise that Apple takes so long to approve apps.
Yep.
We went for app approval a week and a half, I think, before we were due to launch the website on DZTV, and we got, insanely lucky that at midnight when the website went live on the 31st of May, the app went live an hour before on iTunes. We were so lucky on the app store.
That's some pretty...
Because we'd given them a week and a half's notice. They just take forever. So I can only assume that was the issue GW had. However, Games Workshop do have a load of apps already.
Yep. So they must have known.
I think they knew that already.
Yeah.
But I didn't think at the time. I was convincing myself it's not their fault. It's okay. I'm not going to be a negative Nelly, Chris.
A negative Nancy.
Then I got the app.
Uh-oh. When I look at his face now, it looks like you guys are in for a real sad tale. Because he's already got a little sad face on. His cheeks have just gone red. He's got his eyes just started glistening.
See, this is the bonus of doing it.
Yeah.
Right? Games Workshop have a team of developers. They have app developers. They have apps. They have the AOS app. They have games. They know apps. They deal with apps. They've got lots and lots and lots of money at the moment because they've made a fortune. They made so much of a fortune even this year that they've given all their COVID money back. They're doing very well financially. There is no excuse, in my opinion, for a subpar app. And it's subpar. The army builder's not ready.
Yeah, that's annoying.
Still not ready.
That's annoying, yeah.
The main rulebook was just a link to a Google Drive PDF.
That was a bit weird.
Poor.
Yeah, that was a bit weird.
The rest of it...
The data cards are cool, right?
Yeah. Apart from all the mistakes in spellings and weapon strengths, like the strength 65 Death Jester that exists, I think it was. Or something
yeah, that was awesome.
I used him.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, he obliterated my opponent.
Yeah, exactly.
But so they're mildly annoying, but they're kinks, right? It's a massive transfer of data from hard copy to digital.
Exactly.
However, that data is already digital before it goes to hard copy. So all they had to do was copy and paste. They couldn't even do that right.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe they got the intern in to do it, you know?
Yeah, you don't need to write 65. You just copy and paste the strength. So I was going, okay, I understand it's a new set of data, but it's not really. Then, this is what's going to be super interesting for everybody in the Apple world as well, right? So I updated, because we have an app, I'm classified as an Apple developer. Ooh. I'm not a developer because I didn't build my app. We have devs that do that for us. But because I own the account, I classified as an Apple developer.
Yeah.
As an Apple developer, you can download developer profiles when they have new iOS software coming out. So, for example, my phone is currently on iOS 14, which isn't available to the public yet.
Yeah. He has mentioned that quite a few times. He keeps showing it to me.
It's amazing.
He's like, oh, have you seen iOS 14?
It's on beta 6 right now. And what you can do as an Apple, what I do like about being a developer for the software is you can give them like feedback. This doesn't work. This is broken, right? Now, before I upgraded to iOS 14, I could use the search feature on the app. I could click for the rule books and it would give me all the rules, and I could click the data sheets and it would give me the data sheets. That was fine. Then I updated to iOS 14. What do you think's happened to the app since I've updated to iOS 14?
Oh, let me guess. Let me look at your face.
Don't look at my face.
Oh God,
it's too much of a giveaway.
I imagine that it's not designed for iOS 14.
It doesn't look like they've even thought about considering iOS 14 at all.
Which is very imminent. The release is imminent, right? We've guessed it somewhere October.
So what happens, Chris, when I upload my reference sheets? Yeah. I'm showing you now because you're here, right?
Yeah.
So here is all the reference sheets that you get, and you normally go, "Oh, I want to look at let's have a look, Codex Adeptus Mechanicus."
That's exactly what I want to look at.
So you just press it.
Yeah. Go on, press it. Hey, Liam, press the button.
I've pressed it 3 times, Chris. You've watched me press it. This is what happens in iOS 14.
He's pressing the screen. Nothing's happening.
So I thought, okay, it's not an issue. I'll go into my search feature.
Yeah.
And I'll start searching for Adeptus Mechanicus, right?
Yeah,
because
we really want to look at that, yeah.
So, hang on. The Adeptus of the Omnissiah, there's a rule there, a warlord trait. I want to know what that does.
Yeah. Can you press the... okay, Liam, press the rule.
I'm pressing it, Chris.
He's pressing it. Nothing's happening.
What? Nothing's happening.
Nothing's happening, yeah.
Nothing's happening at all. So this app now is completely pointless at the moment
For
iOS 14.
For iOS 14.
Which
isn't out yet.
We are currently on the 29th of August.
Yeah, we got about a month and a bit before.
Well, historically, the new iOS comes out with the new iPhone, which is normally September. They are suggesting that this year there'll be about a month's delay because COVID is a thing that we're all sick of. So there's probably going to be a month delay before iOS 14 comes out. There is a strong possibility at this stage that iOS 14 will drop and every single iOS user will not be able to use that app anymore.
Yep. That's going to be great.
How does a company like Gamesworks? I don't understand.
Yeah.
I just don't get it. I don't.
Have they started a new in-house dev team? Do we know that?
I don't know.
We don't know if they've outsourced or if this is a new team or what.
People have made this comment, right? And this is something that I genuinely completely agree with, and I do not understand why this hasn't happened. Why they didn't reach out to the people that already make, maintain, manage Battlescribe, and why they didn't put Battlescribe. If you haven't heard of Battlescribe, you've been playing 40k under a rock.
Let's be honest,
for a long time.
nobody hasn't heard of Battlescribe.
Most people have. I mean, some people, Winters, still use a pen and paper, to be fair. But if you haven't heard of Battlescribe is basically the most common and popular, I think, Warhammer 40k list builder that's ever existed. To date, right?
Especially for mobile apps. I don't find it as good on the desktop version. But
I hate
mobile
desktop.
Version of
I don't use it on
Battlescribe's
desktop.
great,
I use it on iPhone and iPad. I've tried to use it on desktop, and it's a bit more. It's
wacky.
It's janky. It's all over the place,
weird.
right? So it's been the most popular one for a very long time, and there's a reason. It just sort of works, and there is mistakes and discrepancies. But you're talking about a set of data files that are basically maintained by the community rather than by people that pay.
This is one thing that annoys me. It is literally the people who can be bothered. To set up the rules for everyone else. So cut them some slack. These dudes are literally just waking up one day and going, right, I'm going to spend the next however many hours of my life updating these rules for you.
Yeah.
So
I couldn't do it.
No.
I haven't got a fucking clue how to do it.
No. And I don't think I could. I don't think my brain would allow me to do it because it must be really tedious.
But I just don't get why they didn't go and find these people. Maybe they did. Maybe I'm being unfair to GW.
Yeah.
Maybe they did reach out. And these people went, no, I don't want to work with you.
G-dubs, if that's what you did, massive respect, guys. If you reached out to Battlescribe and went, come on, bros, and they were like, no, we hate GW, then fair enough.
But can you really see the people that run Battlescribe doing that, honestly?
No.
No, neither can I.
Because then they could actually get some people to update their data for properly.
So the only thing I can surmise is that they haven't actually done that. They haven't reached out to the Battlescribe community. I don't know why you wouldn't see someone who does a good job with something and go, we want to use you.
So here's a story.
Okay.
So actually, this is unfair, and we're going to go back to the old Age of Sigmar.
Ooh.
So Scroll Builder, the online AOS army builder, the one that's on the Warhammer community site, that was originally scrollbuilder.com was originally just a fan-made thing, and they did reach. So this was like during the transition time when GW used to like hunt people down, like send out a freaking raiding party to hunt people down who use their IP.
Anyone who's using anything even remotely close to their IP.
They kick your door open, they smash all your models, and they take you away, never to be seen again. But yeah, this time, this guy, they actually reached out to him. There was a Warhammer community article about it, as I recall. People might be able to correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure they said they're bringing Scroll Builder to Warhammer community, and they're collaborating with this guy, and that's probably the foundations for the Azure app.
Yeah.
But you can still use Scroll Builder from Warhammer Community, and that was the original one that everybody used. So they are fully aware about reaching out to.
Don't they employ him now? Don't they pay him?
I assume so, maybe, or they might have paid him to set it up, or who knows. But whatever they did, they definitely did reach out to him, or he reached out to them, or either way, they did settle their differences and agreed to it. There were a bunch of other like big 40k ones that did get shut down.
Oh, really?
So I've only seen it with AOS, which is like their test bed. Who knows? Maybe 40k, they've got different rules in place in their company and different. They're a lot stricter. I don't know.
I also don't understand why they launched. So there's a couple of problems I have. Right, I'm sure the community are going to echo this as well. I dare say this. I don't normally say things like this, especially because it sounds quite egotistical. But I'd imagine the community are just going to agree with me here. To be honest with you, first of all, why launch an app that isn't finished? Okay, So a PDF core rules system. So let's forget the iOS 14 issue, right? Because most people aren't on iOS 14.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So although that's my personal whinge and I now can't use it, and I'm mildly concerned. I'm mildly concerned that when iOS 14 drops, no one can use it. Let's ignore that issue because
they might have that in the bag. They might be like, guys, just chill out. It's not out yet.
Everybody else on iOS who isn't using a dev profile, it's not an issue currently, right? So let's forget about that whinge that's my
This
whinge.
whole thing was just so Liam could say, I've got a dev profile.
Basically, yeah. I just want to show off and be like, look how important I am.
Yeah.
But let's get rid of that shite for now, and let's just focus on the facts that exist currently that will affect almost everybody. So first of all, they've released an app. They've released an app, good English, that wasn't finished. You have a PDF core rulebook, which is worse than getting it on iBooks or whatever app you choose to use. And then you have a list builder that just says coming soon.
And the thing that gets me is that, like, I know you get video games and stuff that are rushed out because the publisher's like, you've got to have this game ready for this date. But these guys are the publisher and the creator, and they're surely in control of the project and their deadlines.
Absolutely.
Why would you turn around and be like, this one thing that people are going to be looking at under a freaking microscope,
especially a company the size of Games Workshop and its history?
Yeah, people already don't cut GW any slack, and they're going to release this to compete with Battlescribe, the last word in list building.
Absolutely.
And they gone, it's not quite done yet. Let's just pop it out there.
So let's layer that on again as well. Not only did they release one that's not finished, they also released it with an ability to subscribe for, is it $3.99?
Yeah, it's something.
So let's say £4. Now, don't get me wrong, right? With what they promised that the app could do when complete and finalised, I personally don't have an issue with paying a subscription
I'm straight
fee,
up on that.
Right? A lot of people gone, £4, it's pay to win. No, it's not. You get your core rules for free. You can still buy your codexes and your normal books for free. You can still use Battlescribe or write with a pen and paper. You don't actually have to have the app to play. So anyone who says it's pay to play, you're just wrong, because you can still play the exact same way you played in 8th edition.
Yeah, it literally doesn't change. You can just carry on doing that.
Absolutely.
You just don't have the convenience of that app.
You're paying for convenience, which is what we do in the modern world anyway, right? So I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with the subscription, nor do I have a problem with the cost. I want to get that out there now. That's not my problem. My problem is releasing an app that's not finished, but also allowing you to pay the full price subscription for the finished article that you haven't got.
Yeah. His beard's glowing red right now.
That's dickish, right? You can pay here. And the worst thing was as well, they sent everyone you can sign up to the Warhammer app here and pay your subscription, which everyone did. And then they got the app and went, wait, this isn't what you promised.
Yeah, that's a bit shit. Maybe they needed to inject a bit more cash into the dev team.
They don't need cash.
Yeah, I know they don't need cash.
Then my third issue with it. So issue 1, they released it unfinished. Issue 2 is that they then charged you for the components that you don't have. That you're paying for something you haven't got, which basic trading standards, right? That's wrong. I'm paying for something I haven't got it.
That's a lot of video games have this problem. It's like, it's DLC.
Yeah. And then my third and final issue, which is something that I feel quite strongly about. I haven't heard this so much in the community, but I think when people hear it, they're probably going to agree. Why was this not ready for the launch of 9th edition?
That's a good question, and it does bring up there was a lot of weird stuff around 9th edition. I don't know whether somehow it was kind of brought forward a bit.
See, the rumour I heard around 9th was that the actual announcement of it was delayed because of COVID.
Oh, okay.
Okay, now I don't know how true that is. This hasn't come from any reliable sources. This is stuff I've read on forums and online and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's also a lot of people theorising that actually the big events that were going to be occurring in the States when COVID hit and then they all got cancelled and everyone went into lockdown was when they were going to announce it, and they pushed it back and then decided to do the live stream announcement because COVID didn't look like it was going away anytime soon. Again, a lot of theorising. Don't know how true that is.
Yep.
Now, if that's even then though, right? There is they released to us community members who have early access. They released to us the Munitorum Field Manual, and the Munitorum Field Manual gives you all the updated points for 9th edition.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they fucked that one up as well. When they did it differently. I take my hat off them for this. When they released this to us, they released it with massive watermarks across all the pages, and they released it to us as digital PDFs only. Actually, I love it. I mean, you've seen in my office where I've got a shelf full of books.
Yeah.
I love having the books. So personally, I really want them to keep sending me the books because I like having the books. However, if they went down the route of just sending me PDFs with watermarks, I kind of encourage that. So dickheads can't keep spoiling it for everybody else.
Exactly, yeah.
So I'm kind of okay with either or. Personally, I'd like to keep having the product because it's nice and I don't want to have to keep buying the books myself, but I would understand doing the PDFs.
Absolutely, yeah.
But when they first sent it to us, they sent us the wrong version. They sent us a 2019 version.
Oh, yes.
With 2019 points for 9th edition, which means this game's been in development. I think we knew this anyway, but for at least a year.
Yeah, I'd hope it's been in development for more than that.
So, but you couldn't get the app ready.
Yeah, that's annoying, isn't it?
Now, they made a big thing about the app with the live streams. We're going to go, Warhammer's going digital. You get this app and you got your roster builder. Look how amazing it is. So have it ready for the launch of the
actual
box.
game, yeah, the edition itself. I can't explain it. It's silly. I haven't just unplugged my microphone.
I just think, right. So personally, for me, with everything they've done with 9th edition, with the release, with the way they work the Indomitors boxes and they kick scalpers in the face, the way they've behaved, 90% of it has been so positive that they've just really dropped the ball here.
Yeah, and just going back to the scalper thing, that is, it is absolutely delicious.
I love that.
That is so delicious.
Yeah, and
I just want to say a big fuck you to the dude on the 40k Facebook group, the trading group that I'm on, who was like, yeah, I get to do this, it's not scalping. Well, fuck you, you've got 4 boxes of that stuff now and you can't sell them. So,
but if it's not scalping, what is it? If you're not if you're not an independent retailer, you're a normal customer and you buy a box at RRP and then inflate the price to try and resell it when you know they're limited stock, how else can you describe that?
It's scalping, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And a lot of people said that. And he was like, I could do what I want. I'm a grown up. And it's like, all right, mate, fine.
Absolutely, he can.
I hope you've lost all your money.
Absolutely. Absolutely, he can do what he wants. Doesn't mean it's not scalping.
No.
Doesn't mean you're not a dickhead.
Yeah, exactly. You're a dickhead. And all your little mates who rallied round you, I hope they all scalped, and I hope they've all got thousands of pounds in debt now because they bought 18 copies of Indomitors each.
Oh, I'm watching the subscriber numbers go down as we're talking.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, guys. But if you're a scalper,
tough.
Just fuck off. Yeah.
I don't like it. I have a massive issue with scalping. And I don't tend to buy or have a lot of limited edition stuff. I just don't. I have the limited edition Death Guard Codex when that came out.
Yeah.
But I honestly bought that off of eBay, and I think someone's mum was selling it and didn't know what it was because it was just normal Codex RRP.
Yeah.
Got lucky there. I'm just not fussed by limited edition characters that much. But for those people that are, because it's not because I'm going, oh, no, I'm not bothered by it because it's rubbish. It's not rubbish at all. It's just not something that fusses me at all.
Yeah.
For those people that are bothered about it, and there's times when I've missed pre-orders on Games Workshop website because I've been asleep post-night shift. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right. Now, if I'd wanted that thing, I don't really want to have to set my alarm for 10 o'clock in the morning when I've just got back from work at 6:15.
Yeah.
So I can make sure I get one because I know that every other Tom, Dick and Harry is going to try and buy 10 and sell 9 on eBay.
Exactly. Yeah.
Hate it.
It's just shitty behaviour, guys. Just stop it. It's shit behaviour.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm not going to
fight me.
I don't. We could as well, right? We're close.
Yeah.
I've got some butter.
Not you. Well, I mean, we can do that later anyway. I'm talking about the scalpers.
I thought you were offering it to me. You were looking at me when you were saying it.
Yeah.
And you got really soft and said, fight me. So yeah, scalpers can... That's what I'm saying though, right? So the way Games Workshop handled that on the whole, I think was pretty good.
That was great. Round of applause for GW for that.
But the other thing that I've noticed in 9th, and we were talking about this earlier, right? When we were having a coffee in the kitchen. I'm back on hype for 40k right now. I'm loving playing the hobby right now. I'm really, really enjoying it. I've played 5 or 6 games of... You're right, you're going for a wonder?
No, I'm just going to stand up for a bit because I can.
I've played 5 or 6 games of 9th edition and I adore it. It's amazing.
Yeah.
He's actually stood up in front of me. I'm mildly concerned.
I might come a bit closer.
And so I love what they're doing, but there's some old Games Workshop tricks. There's FAQs dropping 2 weeks after. Like most, now, 9th edition, most play-tested rule set ever. We have official playtesters who we've even announced to the community. We've used Tabletop Titans and Tabletop Tactics and other people on Frontline Gaming to playtest the hell out of this edition, and yet still you need an errata 2 weeks after.
Mm-hmm.
What is that about?
I think what happens is, the only thing that I can think of to explain it is that they keep forgetting just how crafty the community is, and then some crafty little blighter in the community reveals something like, oh God, we haven't thought of that. That must be it. That's the only thing I can think of.
And then you FAQ a rule set.
Yeah.
And you say, oh, we need to change the rules for Lookout, sir. because we didn't realise we got ourselves in a position where if you have your character next to your 8-wound Dreadnought character, then you can't target because the Dreadnought character is a vehicle. So there's this little. So we have to release an FAQ. What we're not going to do, however, is think about our fix. We're just going to drop an FAQ, and then we're going to get pointed out to by every Harlequins player in the world that the second you've done this, you've now completely fucked our whole army because characters can now be targeted really easily because our vehicles are less than 10 wounds.
Yeah.
So then a week later, you've got an FAQ. Your FAQ.
Yep. Good times.
It's not good times, Chris. It's fucking stupid.
No, it is stupid. Can we talk about something that isn't negative for a minute?
See, this is the thing, right? I'm trying to maintain that on the whole they've done an amazing job because I'm so enjoying 9th edition.
Yeah, you seem to really
genuinely
like it,
really loving the hobby right now. Loving 9th edition. The hobby mojo's back. I've got. I mean, you're in my office, right?
Yeah,
there's built
a lot
models
of stuff
everywhere. There's stuff getting painted. I'm just back on that.
Yeah.
I love 40k now.
What's that big sausage shaped thing? Oh, hang on, sorry.
You don't, yeah.
Okay, carry on.
I'll turn that. I'll get rid of that noise off the podcast so people can't hear that noise. So I'm on a full hobby hype. Like I love the hobby. They're releasing some amazing stuff.
Yep.
Some of the kits Indomitus kits are amazing.
Oh yeah. Oh, you need to show me what's his name? Xeris. Illuminator Xeris.
Oh, he's in the garage. I just recently sprayed him black.
Oh, okay.
I'll go grab him at the garage in a minute.
Yeah,
you can't touch him.
Okay, I won't touch him
because he'll probably break if you look at him.
Yeah, I just want to have a see him in the flesh.
That model, right?
It looks incredible, doesn't it?
One of the nicest models, especially for the Necron range. One of the nicest things they've ever done, in my opinion. Putting that together was a bastard.
Yeah.
That really tested me.
Have you put together an Incarn?
3 times, yes.
Yeah. Better or worse?
Ooh. I have put the Incarn together 3 times because the first 2 times I completely screwed it up and broke it. So I'm going to say it's probably better than the Incarn.
Okay, well, that's good.
Because the Incarn, I hated putting that thing together.
Yeah.
Hated it.
I hear that it's just horrendous.
It's horrible.
It reminds me of Spirit Hosts.
Again, the model was glorious.
Yeah.
Really nice model. Building it. And I genuinely, honestly have broken it 2 times.
Yeah.
And then got to a point where and every time I break it and go, I'm not touching that, just forget it, I'm not going to use it. And then about 6 months later, I was like, it is such a nice Eldar model, though.
Yeah, it would be nice to have a non-broken one.
get one off of eBay or something and buy it and then break it and go, oh, fuck that. And then 6 months later, it is a nice model now. And you've seen the one upstairs that's built.
Yep.
Just about. And I think there's a couple of little breakages, but I don't think you can tell.
Good. Okay.
So yeah, when I got Cesaris, right, I was in our WhatsApp group. Someone was like, "Well, hey, apparently it's a really horrible model to build," and I was like, "Just don't be a ham-fisted fuck, and you'll be all right." Instantly regretted that.
Yeah.
Instantly regretted saying that because then all eyes were on me when I was like, I was sweating at points putting it together. Like, if I break this, I'm suddenly that ham-fisted fuck that I talked about. So anyone who has broken it, I apologise. You're not ham-fisted. It's just very difficult to put together.
Yeah, it looks crazy, but it looks so good.
It's such a nice model.
Yeah.
The whole Necron. The only issue I have of the whole new Necron range is the new Scorpec Destroyer Lord. And even then, it's not because I don't like the model as such. I just don't think the pose is as dynamic as the rest of the stuff that came in that box.
That's right, yeah, but he's a bit more lordly. It's supposed to be.
Yeah, he is a little bit more
chilling.
lordly. I mean, I don't mind the sword too much. I don't mind the gun too much. It's the claw hand just seems to be like out in front of him.
Yeah.
I think they could have done something with that.
I think if you put him, as a standalone model, maybe. But if you put a bunch of Scorpec destroyers they're pretty dynamic looking. They've got
they're amazing.
They're swinging back to hit things and stuff. If you have him stand with a whole group of very dynamically posed Scorpec destroyers, and he's standing there just kind of chilling with his claw hand out, he looks much more like a commander. I think that's what they were probably going for with it.
The Scorpec stuff for me is much more Necron than almost anything else I've ever seen.
Yeah. And the great thing is that if you watch the, we could talk about this actually. Did you watch the live stream? Was it last Saturday?
I haven't.
Okay, so they revealed a new Necron model.
I've heard about this.
It's called the Shooty Bang Man. It's basically a Scorpec destroyer that's got 6 like Gauss pistols or some kind of energy pistol. And the idea of them is they are what they call death marks.
Death marks, yeah.
They're basically a death mark who's sort of upgraded themselves in their destroyer cult, and they want to destroy your life, and they've become this like 6-armed crazy Scorpec thing.
Okay.
And in there, they said the whole point is of all these new Scorpec stuff is that you can have a destroyer themed army now. So we've got floaty destroyers from before. We've still got some destroyer lord kind of stuff coming, or some really heavy destroyers that are coming that we've seen in the preview images that haven't fully been revealed yet.
Okay.
We've got the Scorpec destroyers.
Love the destroyers
with their melee weapons. You've got these new whatever they're called. So we need to find out what they're called.
Yeah, I'm trying. If you can, I don't know if you guys can hear it. I'm trying to do it very quietly.
I'm trying to find it.
But I am currently scratching around the Warhammer community page to try and find. Oh, there he is.
There he is. Yeah, he's a
What's
bad
this
boy.
thing? The Hex Mark Destroyer.
Yeah.
Is a death mark who has fallen to the destroyer curse and wants nothing other than to kill absolutely everything around it. Like it.
Yeah.
While other destroyers fly around with massive cannons and scuttlefall with phase blades, the Hex Mark Destroyer takes a death mark's propensity for surprise attacks to epic levels. They burst from their dimensional. Don't know what that was. Yeah, thank you. Thanks, mate. Yeah. The corrupted destroyer engrams targeting and dispatching nearby enemies in a hail of emetic disintegrator fire. He looks quite cool.
They look really cool. And I love the idea now that you can have like a destroyer themed army. So I've got 12 old school destroyers, a destroyer lord. I've now got this Scorpec lord, the Scorpec destroyers, and this guy. I'm really looking forward to having sort of a heavy destroyer element.
I have to say as well, I don't want to cut you off. We'll talk about this more in a minute. I do.
He says it doesn't want to.
I do mean to cut you off. Let's talk about the terrain in a minute as well, because that's glorious.
Yeah,
the thing I had, so the issue I have with the destroyer, so I also have like 12 old school destroyers.
Yep.
Because they were just in 8th, and they were just so powerful for what they were. Right, fly meant in 8th they could fall back and shoot. You have extermination protocols for a single CP to reroll all failed to hits and failed to wounds with a gun that is just disgustingly powerful. You know, they were so good. Hardwired hatred for reroll and hit rolls of 1 naturally. You could put a lord nearby to reroll, so you end up with 1 character nearby and you get basically the captain lieutenant type combo.
Yep.
So good. Infantry somehow.
Yeah.
So you could get my will be done on them. So good. But I have to say, I think the models are a bit crap.
Okay, so here's the thing, right? I really like destroyers. I think you're right. They are crap. They are crap models. But for some people, there's something so unique and creepy about them. These kind of little weird floating beetle bodies, and they got that one gammy arm that sticks out the side.
What's the point in that arm?
That just weird gammy arm that doesn't do anything, just wobbles around. And then it's got the half of their head that's kind of like a death mark sensor head.
Yeah. I get it.
I like them, but the guns are a bit. The guns look very dated. I wish everything could have an update to have the new style the new style Gauss weapons that have the holes in them.
If they redo them, I don't want them to change the overall look and aesthetic too much.
Have you seen in the preview? You've seen the one in the preview.
The heavy destroyer.
Yeah.
I've seen the heavy destroyer.
They basically just juiced them up a bit. But
the principle of him is the same.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with that. Like, I didn't want to come away from that floaty body with the sort of torso at the front because I like that. That's cool.
Yeah.
But it's not a horrendous sculpt. It's just dated. It's really old, right? And it just doesn't. There's some aesthetic choices that just don't seem to make sense. That gammy arm. I don't know why they've got to take my strong hand.
They've done some great. They did a really good job of mixing the two together because the new Necron stuff looks much newer, looks really good, but they've still kept with the kind of metal spine theme. You know, you've got the spines that run down it and that kind of thing, and it does really mix them together. The
Warriors, like they're obviously a brand new kit, but they're so obviously Necron warriors.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what they've done really well, right? They're so obviously a Necron warrior because they just are. You can't mistake them for anything else.
Well, one thing that is a bit worrying about that is I got my old Necron warriors out because I wanted to do them. I like this whole scheme that GW used on theirs with Reichland Flesh Shade kind of bodies, right? So I went over and I started sort of touching up the old warrior models with Reichland Flesh Shade to give them a bit more of a rusty, sort of grotty look. And oh Lord, the old Necron warriors next to the new ones literally look like cartoon parodies of a Necron warrior. The new warrior models are so good. so good, and they're so creepy, and you can have them with bits hanging off them and cables coming out, and their eyes busted, and they've got this kind of horrible walk on them, this horrible stride. The old ones literally look like a sassy photo party where they're all standing around with like legs wide open, like doing jazz hands and all kinds of stuff.
They've done this thing with those new warriors where so Necron warriors. Necron warriors on in general are supposed to be mindless, all look the same.
Legion, aren't they? They're supposed to just march forward.
And they've got that same feeling with the new ones, but with loads of detail.
Yeah.
That's insanely well done.
Yeah, they're great. And their heads, it's all down to the little things. First of all, not having them all standing with their legs just wide open. Like, I don't know why that pose was ever like chosen. The thing about a Necron warrior is if you stand it up, it's bigger. It's the same size as a Primaris Marine.
Is it?
But this kit is from years ago, so they've hunched them over to make them short. But if you stand it up, yeah, it's a Primaris sized model. So the new ones, they've kind of managed to keep them hunched and slightly smaller, whilst giving them poses that aren't just squatting.
The hunch from the waist up in the old ones I was okay with, like this, like zombie horde type feel. Right, so they're hunched over. It gives them like this sort of like unanimated, like dead kind of feel. It was definitely the legs that killed them for me.
The legs is bad, yeah.
Yeah,
legs is bad.
Yeah, and all it took was a little bit of dynamic work. Look at the Immortal kit, a little bit of dynamic work with the legs, and they would have worked a lot better.
Immortals still look great.
Yeah,
I got my Immortals out. I've gone over them and sort of put patches of rust on them and a bit of more damage on them. They fit straight in with the new aesthetic. Can't wait to use those. I'm keeping Tester on them as well.
Good.
I think I'm going to use Warriors. I think I hope that Reanimation Protocols is getting reworked for this new codex. I don't know if anything's been leaked yet or what. But I really hope that an infantry heavy Necron army is viable.
Yeah, I'd love to see that.
Because I've got enough now where I could play different lists. I could play an infantry heavy list, and I can play a destroyer heavy list, and I get a lot more out of a Necron army than the kind of one build that you could only really go one way or the other. It was either spam flyers and Doomsday Arcs or spam destroyers.
In terms of armies to film with the channel, like Deployment Zone, it's always nicer when you have a pool of 4,000 or 5,000 points to choose from.
Yeah.
Because you can take you can take the same army but a different list 3, 4, 5 times in a row and have a different feel to it. And I think historically, with Necrons, if you missed out certain units, you were putting yourself at a mild disadvantage because if you didn't take destroyers, do you know what I mean? You were sort of like, why wouldn't you take them?
If you didn't take destroyers, then you'd need a couple of those flying croissants.
Yeah, and if you didn't take them, you were almost murdered if you didn't take a Doomsday Arc or 3.
Yeah,
I think if they can do with Necrons kind of what sort of exists with Space Marines already, and I think they could do this with most armies, whereby me and you and 2 other people can go to the same event with the same army, but with different lists completely and perform as well as each other.
Yeah.
And obviously, I mean, I'm talking very loosely because some of it just like relies on skill set and stuff. What I'm saying is, certain armies go to an event and you pretty much know what's going to be in the list.
Yeah, Necrons.
Do you know what I mean?
3 croissants, 3 Doomsday Arcs, and then the Immortal Tats.
Yeah. Or on a rare occasion, you had swathes of warriors with Ghost Arcs, etc.
Mm-hmm.
I think if they can get to a point where you can have 3 or 4 Necron armies at an event that will all look completely different for a competitive feel, then that shows a good codex balance. Now, we're not fussed about competitive on the channel. That shows a good codex balance. But what it also means is if you'll end up with players that will have, because naturally, I say this now, most people will build a list to start with when they first collected an army that they think is semi sort of competitive, strong enough that whoever you're facing, you'll do okay, and you shouldn't struggle and suffer, because you don't want to be the guy that gets whooped every single game.
No, it's no fun.
No matter how good your narrative is, it will start to become a bit demoralizing. It just does.
Yep.
And if you find that person who is getting whooped, you will almost always find they'll start looking at other units to try and bring in to give them some strength back. If you have if you have an army whereby there are multiple different builds that can be good, and you're like me, and don't get me wrong, I'm a shiny magpie anyway, but it encourages you to diversify and expand your collection more.
Yeah.
Because you're not looking at a unit going, there's no point me buying that because it's just rubbish.
Yeah, which unfortunately the current Necron range is a lot like that. There's so many things that is pointless, like the
How many times do you see flayed ones?
Flayed ones. What's the tomb spider thing?
Tomb spider, yeah.
Wraiths became pointless. They completely ruined them.
If you saw monoliths, it was it wasn't because they're good. It's more of a hat tip. It's what I mean. It's kind of, So I think if they can do that with Necrons to make them like Space Marines, and to some extent, and it's not as easy with other armies because they just don't have the variation or options that Space Marines have.
Yeah.
But if they can get some of that kind of feel to it, so you can do exactly what you're talking about. So you can come on the channel one day and run an infantry heavy list and do well and compete and have a good chance of winning. And you can come on a channel 2 weeks later and bring a destroyer heavy list and have the same type of experience.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's perfect.
And hopefully we'll see that.
I really do hope so.
Because I want to pick up the new destroyers, bring a nice destroyer list, see how it goes. Bring a nice infantry list, see how it goes. And you can see what happens. But let's quickly talk about the new monolith, by the way.
Oh.
Are you as excited as I am for that? I'm more excited about the monolith than the Silent King in the background of that leaked image.
I don't know about that.
I love the Silent King, but I've always wanted monoliths to be good. Please write some good rules for this.
That's the kicker, right?
Please write some good rules. I know they were good. They have been good.
The model is so nice. I will absolutely 100% be getting the new monolith.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's shit, but I would rather it be good.
Please be good. Yeah, please be good, because it's so iconic as a Necron unit, and even the old model wasn't that bad.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah,
it's not amazing, but I really had always thought of the monolith in the center of a Necron army being kind of like the linchpin for the army. Like, I know in lore-wise it's not like that, but I've always imagined Necrons, this huge monolith slowly, floating into battle and just waves of undead, waves of Necron warriors just pouring out of that portal at the front. Anything coming near it getting hit by, oh my gosh. He's just pulled up the new monolith.
On the big screen. It's just so good, isn't
Honestly, that is amazing.
There's just nothing bad about that model at all.
It's incredible. That's an incredible model.
Yeah, even to do you know what my biggest concern about that model?
What is that?
Doing specifically the warrior coming out the portal, doing that paint job justice.
Oh yeah,
that's genuinely the bit that concerns me.
Damn,
because it just looks, it's just so good as a model.
Also, they've just updated the design. The old monolith has that lovely curved like archway thing going on.
Yeah.
And then it had the weird gem that was made out of
plastic.
Crappy plastic. I prefer the energy ball, but it's still really keeping that aesthetic there. I really like that. They haven't messed with it too much, but it just looks way more modern.
Yeah, and they've it's weird to say this about a model that's basically a pyramid shape, but there's so much dynamic content on that model. They've got the kinetic unit behind it working on the energy ball.
Yeah.
They've got the warrior coming out of the portal. It's just...
You've got the energy in the portal as well.
It's just stunning.
Yeah.
It's just amazing.
They've done a great job of this. And the guns, the guns on each corner look better as well, because the old one had like the old style Gauss rifle.
If you look as well, interestingly on the side, they've got the same sort of like anti-grav type things that are on the new destroyer. Destroyer.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
That's awesome.
That's something that I would love to start seeing as an actual centerpiece for almost every Necron army, because it's just, I mean, the monolith screams Necron, right?
Yeah, it does.
Right from the start.
Like Egyptian space evil Egyptians. Yeah.
Amazing.
You need a pyramid. Yeah.
I'm super excited by that model.
Yeah. And the just to go back as well, the Silent King, I'm probably going to, when I actually see the Silent King and it's available and it's all there, I'm probably going to go, oh my God, it's way better than the monolith. And then when the next thing comes out, I'll probably do that as well. But the Silent King's looking amazing. And that new Catan, I can't remember what it's called. We've had the name revealed, haven't we? Oh gosh.
Yeah.
No, don't show me. He's brought up the Silent King.
There you go. There's the Silent King.
Oh, it's so much of a throwback to Nagash as well.
And they've got that trapped Catan up the back behind him. It's just beautiful.
That is a huge model. That's incredible.
I can't yet decide with the two Cryptek side by side. I just can't decide whether I think I would prefer this to the Monolith. It's just so nice.
Okay, let's just not look at that anymore. So I've just gone on about the Monolith. Do you get the Nagash vibe off of that?
Kinda, yeah.
It's kind of his general, because they've definitely pushed the undead aesthetic a bit more with these new releases. In terms of like the Necron warriors and stuff, they look a lot more like shambling dead than like Terminator robots.
Yeah, it is space undead now, isn't it?
Yeah, it is space undead, and this has kind of confirmed a bit for me because I'd get serious Nagash vibes, just the pose and his general sort of the way. It's that helmet as well, isn't it?
It's robot Nagash.
Yeah,
basically.
it's robot Nagash. And those things, look at those panels. Are they going to be like crazy shields, do you think?
I hope so.
That protect him? That is
as long as the rules aren't stupid, I hope so.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm really loving the look of the new stuff. I can't wait for the rest of the reveals.
I don't know what else is coming. That's the problem as well. I'd like to see them rework some stuff. So I'd like to see flayed ones in a new kit that's with viable rules.
Yeah.
I don't think like
they're
the whole
a bit wacky though. The narrative for them can just do one because they got rid of the pariahs, didn't they, from the old Necron army?
Yeah,
these
they basically ditched pariahs and released Lichguard, right?
Yeah, and these got the flayed ones. It's like they want to cover themselves in flesh, and they need to either go really grimdark with that and have them like wearing flesh suits or something, or they need to just drop it altogether.
I'd like to see. I would personally like. People are arguing about this when I get this. I would personally like to see an improved Wraith models, but I also want them on bigger bases.
I think there's nothing wrong with the current Wraith. I think they look great.
Fine, but put them on bigger bases.
Put them on bigger bases
because the 40mm bases are so horrible for Necron Wraiths.
Yes, and they fall over
all the time. All the time.
Yeah, okay, bigger bases. But then you're going to ruin my little bases that I made.
I'm sorry, yeah. But then, apart from that, actually, this is interesting. I've literally just been thinking of this as we've been talking as well. So Flague ones are a dead kit, I think, and need replacing or something. Wraiths, for me, at least need bigger bases. You're right, actually. The models aren't that bad if you can put bigger bases on them.
They're really good if you don't put the whip coil thing.
Oh, yeah.
I hate that. It's the thinnest piece of plastic ever.
I just put claws on all of them.
Yeah, just make them base, yeah.
So we've already spoke about destroyers that could do with a rework, but looking at the heavy destroyer, it looks like that's probably coming. And actually, there's a giveaway as well. If you haven't already noticed, they're getting rid of all of the green plastic rods.
Yeah.
And the old destroyer kits still have green plastic rods.
Yeah. So please keep the gammy hand, Games Workshop.
Yeah.
Don't get rid of that iconic hand that's just hanging out the side, doing nothing.
We probably will see a rework in destroyers because the heavy destroyer's base is different and they are getting rid of those plastic rods.
Yeah.
That aside, the kit's almost, the whole range is then pretty much, with the exception of some special characters, up to scratch then.
Yeah. And you know what's really great? Is you can still run your old destroyers and have them like just an older, because these are machines, aren't they? Have them just an older version of the chassis.
You could even choose to do things like weather them more if you wanted to prove.
Yeah, have them as more ancient.
But so they'll still be viable, but that's the range almost completely refreshed. And what's interesting is a lot of people go, Space Marines get all the attention. They get more than most other factions. But let's look at this is a really interesting topic to talk about actually. Segue, warning. But this is something that I whinge. This is a criticism of myself, right? This is self-critique.
Wow, some self-critique. Honestly, let's hear this. Let's hear this moment.
I have, for a very, very long time, whinged about the amount of love and attention Space Marines get, right?
All right.
And I go, well, they get all the attention. Now, I did some looking back the other day, and that statement, they get all the attention, is complete crap.
Yeah.
They get a lot of attention. They get a lot of new kits.
Yeah.
Death Guard weren't their own army 5 years ago.
Yeah, they got a whole...
They have a complete range.
Yeah.
Thousand Sons weren't their own army 5 years ago.
Yep.
They have a complete range.
They're both Space Marines, but yeah.
The Space Marines, but they're Chaos, right?
They're
and
Chaos
I'm basically
Marines,
whinging about loyalists get all the attention. Okay?
Oh, okay, all right.
So that's that, right? Then Chaos Space Marines last year, the year before, got basically a whole new range.
Huge and awesome refresh.
Huge overhaul. And that's not taking into consideration the previous overhaul had with the Mauler Fiends, Forge Fiends, Helldrakes, etc.
Yep.
Necrons, we're looking at being almost a complete new range.
Yep, and they've got some newer stuff anyway in there.
Yeah. Tell me how many Tau models are bad.
Oh, Tower had already had a refresh over time. haven't they?
Exactly, right? Eldar, as an Eldar player, I'm a little bit bitter because Aspect Warriors I want to be really good, but even they've had the new Banshee kit. Yes, okay, fair enough. The Guardian kits are quite old, but Crimson Hunters, Wraith Guard, Wraith Knights.
Well, the thing that really, so I've moved into the Space Elves at the moment. I'm currently looking. I've got Harlequins, I've got Craftwells, and I've got Drukhari on the go. But what with the new Harlequins that have come to the channel, I'm going to hold off on those for a minute. Carry on with the Craftwells, and I've just had a bit of a resupply. So the Wave Serpent chassis is from 1997.
It kind of stands up though.
Wave Serpents look amazing on the battlefield.
To put them together, the ones I've given you, check them over because the lips that exist around the top of the hull that you have to sort of sand back to make them nice and smooth edges are shitty because it's an old plastic mold.
Yeah.
But the actual chassis itself kind of still stands up.
Yeah,
still look good.
I think since then they've had an update where it changed the turret. I think it was.
Yeah, they did. The turret,
but
changed.
the chassis itself, old, still holds up. Rangers we were looking at today still look great.
There's one problem with Rangers.
What's that?
Finecast.
Yeah, they're Finecast.
I fucking hate Finecast.
The kind of update. I mean, some of the Aspect Warriors have been updated recently.
They've had
by
Banshees,
recently. It's in the last so the models for Dire Avengers,
Dark Reapers aren't their original models. I mean, they're still Finecast shite, but they're not the original Dark Reapers.
Same as with the
Fire
the
Warriors?
Striking Scorpions have been updated.
Fire Warriors
and Fire, yeah.
They all got updated. When they were updated to new metal kits originally, and they're now Finecast. Finecast, the biggest business decision, the worst business decision Games Workshop have ever made, bigger than the current app fuck up.
And it was Fire Dragons.
So they did get Fire Dragons. They did get I think even Sweeping Hawks as well. I think all of the Aspect Warriors had an update.
Sweeping Hawks are still rocking the old ones, I think, and they've still got the 1987 wing design. As
I
well.
was a year old.
Yeah, they've still got the Rogue Trader wings.
But I would like, when you look at what they've done recently with the Banshees and the plastic kits, and you see how well they can do with plastic now, I just would love a complete Aspect Warrior refresh.
Oh, that's what they need, and they need to do the Phoenix Lords with each one. We've got Jane's R. They could do a release, a Phoenix Lord, and their dudes. Boom, keep going. Finish it with Azerman.
You don't. I would argue that you don't even need an update with the Guardians. The Guardians aren't that bad.
Guardians are fine.
They're not that bad.
Absolutely fine. Yeah.
But I think you do need an update with you get the Aspect Warriors and the Phoenix Lord sorted. For me, the Eldar range is fine.
Yeah.
That's a lovely range of models. Even the Vipers are decent. There's a couple of nuanced issues, for example. So the Vipers, they can take an underslung shuriken cannon on the options. You can't take that on the kit. It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
You have to kit bash. So there's little nuances there which I wish they would address or do something about, but that's by the by. In terms of an actual overall aesthetic for the model looks nice. So there's that. Orcs, load of new models recently.
Yeah.
Guard, the tanks all got updated and are pretty decent.
Infantry kits need updating.
They do need updating, and I would also like to. I don't know how they would do this. Right, this is a real challenge for them, but I would like to. So Space Marines are one of those kits, right? Where on the whole, even if you're talking Blood Angels, you don't actually have to buy the Blood Angel shoulder pads. You can just paint them red, and they're Blood Angels. You don't have to buy the specific Blood Angels
transfer on them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You don't have to buy the specific Blood Angel shoulder pads. You don't have to buy the specific Blood Angels vehicles if you don't want to. You can buy the standard kits. And you just paint them red. You could do the same with Space Wolves and paint them grey. You can kind of do the same with Chaos. You can paint Alpha Legion in a metallic green and paint Wordbearers red, and they're Chaos Space Marines. The thing is with Guard is the look is so different from regiment to regiment. So from Cadians to Valhallans to Talons, the look is so different that you can't just paint them a different colour and say they're Talons.
No, you can't.
And that's, for me, I'd love to see I don't know how they do it. I'd love to see an infantry
I'll tell you.
kit.
So basically, there's a company that do 3D print templates that fit in with the regular Cadian kit.
Okay.
So it basically replaces the head and the torso, and then you add all the weapons. You put the arms, legs, weapons, all that from the kits on. Or is it just the arms and might just be the arms? But anyway, you combine them with the Cadian kit. I know someone who's done this, and they look absolutely fantastic. There's also like a Valhallan version of it. There is ways they could do it.
Yeah, I'm sure there probably is. And there's people that design their models that are significantly better at this stuff than I am.
Yeah.
So I've got no doubt that they can work it out, even if I can't. That I'd like to see. And yet again, you do that one thing for the guard range.
The tanks are completely fine.
Tanks are fine. Ogryns and Bulgryns are fine. I mean, even all the Scion stuff's fine. There's just no other issues there for me.
No, that would
no
sort
other
it
issues
right
at
out.
all.
What they really need to update is the Primaris Space Marine.
Chris.
Yeah?
Fuck off.
They just haven't done anything new for like the last week. It's so annoying.
But like I said, Death Guard, new army. Thousand Sons, new army. Harlequins, arguably, new army.
Harlequins do not need a single change.
Harlequins are
They're
so nice.
so good.
Especially when they're painted well.
Yeah, with the proper little diamonds.
Oh.
And, yeah, like literally these new Harlequins that he's got been painted by like a machine or the Terminator or something. We were looking at the lines on them. I don't know how a human being paints a straight line that thin.
It's amazing,
on a piece
isn't
of
it?
plastic. Yeah,
that's a big shout out. If you go onto Instagram and search for Confurioso Minis, I think it is. I'll link it in the description below this podcast if I remember to. Remind me to. If I put it out and I haven't put it on there, remind me to his Instagram page. It's Sean Kenny. I met him at No Retreat 7. What a phenomenal painter.
Yeah.
What a phenomenal painter.
Sean Kenny, if you're listening to this, I've got 2,000 points of Harlequins that are still grey. I've got about 15 quid in my account, so if you want to just hook me up.
What's amazing is when I bought the main force off of him, I added all the points up and I was at about 1,500 points. I was like, well, for the channel, we tend to play 2,000, so I need to up it. So how am I going to do that? So I had a bit of a fiddle and I thought, well, the best way is to add 6 bikes, 2 Void Weavers, because there was no Void Weavers, and a Death Jester, because there was no Death Jester. So at the point in adding that, I then had everything in the Codex as an option, which is cool. And then all I'm going to do now is add a few more infantry, maybe another Void Weaver, maybe some more bikes, so I can just round it out and have options so I can change the list around. So I sent him that stuff. I sent him 6 bikes, a Death Jester, and 2 Void Weavers. And then the whole army got sent back to me 3 weeks later. He'd painted all 6 bikes, the Death Jester, and the 2 Void Weavers, and he'd redone all the cowlings on the other 5 bikes and the other 5 transports, so they matched.
Yeah, it's incredible.
In 3 weeks.
And it's so good.
It's so good.
And that's why I want an army painted by this guy.
Yeah.
I've got 3 Death Jesters in my army, by the way.
Death Jesters.
I love Death Jesters now.
Insanely good.
I love them.
For 50 points.
Yeah. Are they 50? I thought they were 60 points.
50 points in the new edition.
Oh my gosh.
50 points, and they are so good.
They ruin people's days. They absolutely ruin people's days, and it's great.
When I started talking about the Quins before I played with them for the first time against Brom, people were saying to me, Death Jesters, get Death Jesters. And I was like, oh. My big issue with Death Jesters, for example, is having 2 or 3 that are the exact same pose. I don't like the same pose.
So I've dealt with that.
I'd like to see that, because I don't know how I would fix it right now and keep that Death Jester aesthetic. I used one against Brom, and he didn't do. So I'm not going to put any spoilers in there, because the battle report goes up on deploymentzone.tv this Tuesday. He didn't perform as well as I had hoped. A lot of that was down to Dice Gods. I can see how they can wreck people's day. Yeah, especially with the new specialties that they can all have as well. Yeah. So when they had their sort of Psychic Awakening update that came out in White Dwarf, Games Workshop, stop doing that. Please stop doing that, or I'm going to post you a poo. They get the ability where Troop Masters, Shadow Seers, Solitaires, and Death Jesters can pick one of 4 abilities.
Yeah, or you can pay a CP and have your
one of them
core one and one of the new rolls.
Wow. Some of those abilities. Do you know what I took on the Shadow Seer? I underestimated how good this would be until I started using it. The Shadow Seer normally has an ability where every unit within 6 inches, when an enemy unit targets it, it has -1 to wound. Get rid of that one, man. You don't want that one. What you want is the one where every unit within 6 inches, when an enemy targets it, it counts as 6 inches further away.
Oh yeah, it's pure trollery, isn't it? Pure trolling.
That really pissed Brom off.
Yeah, I bet it did, yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
And it's what's the funniest part of it, especially if you're that kind of guy, and I quite often like being that kind of guy, is when you watch them pre-measuring so that they're just in range.
Yeah, just in range.
And then they go, oh, I'm going to shoot that. You're not.
Pay a CP and get both. So if they can just about get it, then it's -1 anyway. You're like,
I should do that. That's not... Do you know what? In hindsight, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah. Harlequins are the ultimate troll army. They've got so many little beautiful tricks. You can really joke about with them. There's another one. I can't remember if it's I think it's a new stratagem. Can't remember what you can use it on. People will know. When someone declares a charge on you, you can make a 12-inch move.
No.
Or a 9-inch move or something.
Maybe it's that one. I don't know. The one that I like or love the most, which is definitely, I think, a new one, is when someone falls out of combat with you, you can immediately move up to 6 inches.
Yeah.
And you can, as a consolidation move, which means you can move back into combat.
Yeah, exactly.
So they go, I'm falling out.
They waste that.
You just
yeah.
jump back into
I
it.
need to clarify the other one, but I saw the trolling potential in it. It was something along the lines of, in the charge phase, you can make a move, a full move. So basically, when someone sets up a charge on you, you just walk out of the way.
Oh, I need to see that. I think I've missed that one. If that
yeah,
exists.
it's a white dwarf one. So we'll have a look at it in a bit.
It's there. The white dwarf's there.
Yeah, we'll have a look at it. It's something like that. But there's a way. It just looks hilarious. And you can take, what was it? There's like a council you can take, which is where you have the Solitaire, Death Jester, and Shadow Seer, and you can just warp all three of them across the table.
Do you know what's mental? Right, seriously.
What's mental? What's mental, Liam?
In the Codex, there's a stratagem for a single command point where you can pick up a Harlequin's unit and move it out the way. So like before the first battle round. In the White Dwarf, there's a stratagem for 2 CPs where you can do that with 3 units.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
That's
it's madness.
Do you know how, like, especially in 9th edition as well, with first turn being quite big, Brom and I were chatting about this when we realised that it existed before we played the recent game. That is actually insanely strong.
It's incredible, but then 12 Harlequins getting shot at by Space Marines with Gatling cannons, probably going to die.
Yeah, granted.
So
yeah.
you basically you are the moving. As you saw yourself as well, Harlequins are great in combat, but they're not always great in combat.
With
so they need something, and their movement and their ha 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 ha, I tricked you, is their strength. That's how you're supposed to win with them.
And the ability. So the deployment is obviously in 9th edition. Deployment is you go, I go. Okay? So what we do is if you guys don't know, you secretly write down what's going to go into reserve or what's going to start off in a transport. You write all that down before you start deploying. Then you tell each other, and then you start deploying with a you go, I go, and you can't then change your mind and go, oh, actually, I want to put these Terminators in reserve. That's done then. You've made your choice. So, because what we used to find in 8th edition was I'm putting this in reserve, your turn, I'm putting this in reserve. And it was just a bit dull. But what's come back in 9th, now it's you go, I go, is where someone will hold back a unit like a tank. So maybe Brom's holding back his Repulsor Executioner, right? Because that's his big hitter. And he doesn't want to put that down until he sees me put my vehicles down, because that's what he wants to target and make sure he can see. Equally, I don't want to put my vehicles down until I see where his execution is going, because I don't want them to be in the line of fire. I want to try and protect them. Now, with stratagems like that Harlequin one, where I can pick up 3 units and remove them, that's so insanely powerful, because I can be a little bit more blasé and go, I'm going to put my vehicle down, knowing that he'll go, I'm going to put my executioner over there. I'm going, sweet, thanks, mate. Game starts. I'm now moving that vehicle.
Yeah. This is exactly why I love the Shard of the Deceiver in the Necron army, and it's why I will be continuing to use the Deceiver, because there's so many funny things you can do with that, because you can move him around in deployment, and then you can move him.
He's plus D3 units in him, though, isn't he?
He is, so he's not as reliable, but especially like if you think about it, like the new Necron Warriors have got their new gun, which nobody understands why it's there, because it's 14-inch. Strength
built
5.
All of my warriors with that gun.
Yeah, well, get the Deceiver to just lull them into range and open fire, rapid fire. People
don't seem to. I've had this argument with people, right, about these 14-inch weapons. 14 inches is rubbish. It's really not.
No,
because you've got a 14-inch, which front and back means like a 28-inch denial bubble, where if you're sticking yourself as 20 Necron warriors that can reanimate on 5+s with reroll 1s naturally on an objective, and objectives are key in 9th edition, you get within 14 inches of me.
Yeah. Because all of a sudden you have a basic infantry who is extremely lethal.
Absolutely.
Extremely dangerous. It's
denial,
-2 AP, isn't it, as well?
I think it's -2, yeah. The area denial that those guns create is mental.
And if you stick it with, is it Mefret? I'm not very good at my dynasties. One of them is half range, you get an extra AP.
Yeah, so with Mefret, if you're within 7 inches of them, because you've got to be less than half range, you're right.
Yeah.
It's an additional AP -1.
Yeah. Deal with that. Strength 5, AP -3.
On basic infantry.
On basic infantry, yeah.
Insanely good.
See you later on 20 guys.
Insanely good. Absolutely.
Who can reanimate? Who can reanimate? Let's just throw that in there.
So currently,
and they can get My Will Be Done. They can shoot. They can hit on essentially you can get them down to hitting on 2s if
you can. With my will be done, they'll hit on 2s. You can stick a Kinetic Reanimator behind them to give them +1 for 4+ reanimate rerolling 1s. You could also, if you wanted to, currently this is fine, put a Cryptek within 3 inches of them. Yeah. At which point they're reanimating on 3s rerolling 1s.
Stick a Chronometron on it and give them a 5 up invulnerable.
Insane.
Imagine dealing with 25 up invulnerable, reanimating on 4s, 2 up to hit, strength 5, AP -3 weapons, toughness 4. They are Space Marines as well.
They're no joke. What you have with the 14-inch weapon, what people are saying is pointless. I disagree. What you have is you have a threat range that people are going to want to keep out of. And if they want to keep out of that, what you'll then have, to a point, is a degree of board control.
Yep.
Because you can kind of control where people want to go because they don't want to get in range of that much gun. They just don't want to.
Yeah.
It's a stupid place to be.
Also, remember that another useful dynasty as well is the guys who automatically advance 6 inches. You know, the phase warping guys.
Is that Novok? Or is it Novok the combat one? I can't remember. But
Can't remember. You've got 12-inch move basically every turn. They're very maneuverable.
Yeah.
They are a very maneuverable army if you take that dynasty. Completely not if you don't, but you can make them into speed machines. 12 inches every turn, just smash them down the board. I know that it's rapid fire, but that's not the point. You're getting into engagement range at that point.
Yeah, well, that's exactly that, right? So you might use your advanced first turn at least, and you're getting with My Will Be Done, you're getting a 12-inch move.
Yeah.
Actually, no, with My Will Be Done with advancing, you're getting a 13-inch move. Because you add 1 to movement and to advance.
Yep.
So you get a 13-inch move, and then next turn you'll get your 5-inch move, and if you've got My Will Be Done again, it becomes 6 inches. So you're looking at somewhere in the region of sort of 18 to 19-inch move in the first 2 turns.
And you ignore terrain.
Allowing yourself still to shoot in the second turn.
So you can walk right up behind a building
and then
with all the guys on the other side of it and just walk straight through the building.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
It's cool. Yeah.
I like that.
And it's thematic.
I think we actually did manage to end on quite a positive, really, though.
Yeah, of course we did.
I mean, I criticise myself. That's always a positive.
Yeah. What's the time now? Where are we?
We've done over an hour. That's why we're about to have some dinner as well, Chris,
I'm
right?
hungry. Let's go eat something.
We're going to order some food in, and we're going to have a nice romantic dinner. And
yeah,
I think she wants to be involved as well, which is a bit weird.
It's going to get a bit weird, but Liam's currently like wearing a shirtless, like muscle vest kind of thing. But I'm not seeing the muscles that go with it.
No.
And it's putting me off my food right now.
Lockdown hasn't been kind to me. The gym shut. And as my wife correctly pointed out, what does it matter if the gym was shut? You didn't go anyway.
Yeah.
Thanks, woman. But it's open again now, so I'm going to start not going to the gym some more.
Yeah, that's great. And then we can see these.
I like the muscle vest look.
Yeah, I mean, it's great, especially with the amount of body hair that he's got just poking out the sides. That's nice.
It's when the wind picks up and it scatters into your dinner.
Yeah. Into my dinner.
And then you get home and your missus is like, why have you got pubic hairs in the back of your throat? Because Liam.
Yeah, just Liam.
Yeah, and then she'll probably accept that.
She'll be like, oh, okay.
Yeah, fair enough. So I think as an hour and a special, because we now need to eat, which we weren't going to do this, but I have got 2 mics, so we thought we'd go for it.
Yeah.
I think that's probably enough for now.
Is it?
Yeah, I reckon.
Have you guys had enough?
I've had enough.
We've just gone on for ages.
I'm hungry.
I am really hungry.
If this microphone hasn't picked up my stomach through this, I'll be very surprised.
Yeah, I've done a couple of rumbles. And I'm getting that, when your eyes get that kind of tired ring around them because you're so hungry.
How tired and hungry are you, though?
Like 97.
That's fine. So you've got 3% of you that can still sing the outro.
Yeah, okay. Why don't we sing it together?
No.
No? In like a harmony?
No.
I'm going to go back.
I'm more of a lone wolf, so I don't think that works, a harmony.
I'm going to lean on some old lyrics because I really like them.
I like how you've almost shifted your seat in the stool as well. You look like you're in an American bar.
Well, that's the thing. You've got to open up the chest cavity. You've got to get the lungs in there.
Really nice. Oh, and a sniff.
And nice. A sniff, yeah.
just seen that peak on audition. That's lovely.
Clear the throat. I'm actually about to sneeze, which is quite difficult.
I hope you do that mid tune. Are we ready? I hope you guys have enjoyed this podcast.
Yeah.
Obviously, Chris is about to sing us an outro. If you have enjoyed it, make sure you subscribe to the channel or subscribe on Podbean. Share it with everybody. We're doing okay in the Apple charts for these as well. Like, really okay. Like we're still. Did you know the last podcast is still in the Apple charts for the UK?
No,
that's really good. Yeah, we haven't put one out for like a month.
Yeah.
So make sure you subscribe. You've probably heard us talking about deploymentzone.tv. Check out deploymentzone.tv. All the links will be below. That's an amazing hobby space. It's full of battle reports and tutorials and behind the scenes and all that kinds of stuff. It's taken off recently as well, as has the deploymentzone.tv community, which is accessed via Patreon. We now have over 520 patrons, over 800 people in Discord. We're
That's
becoming one of the biggest, I think, hobby communities that exists
Yeah.
for active hobby members.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is insane. So give all that a check. Give all that a check.
Give all that a check,
check
mate.
out all of that. Give it all a look. Makes much
Yeah.
more sense in English than give it all a check.
You can even speak to us sometimes on there, and it's just like this. It's
Yeah,
complete
you
nonsense,
can hang
and you
out
won't get anything.
around 1 o'clock in the morning just to see a wild Warsmith Chris appear and start talking about eggs or something. Cool, but then don't worry about it because we do have our own very own fun sponge.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, so everything's equal.
Yeah. So check all that stuff out. All of this stuff will be linked below, or most of it anyway. And I'm sure if you don't have something linked below, you can nudge me and I'll sort you out. That's that. I need to get that out of the way just because this is epic. I don't want to talk afterwards.
Okay.
It's a live show right now.
This is live. I can't do this because he's sat right in front of me. I can't make eye contact. I'm going to swivel my chair around.
Okay, look out my window. If you look out my window into my garden, it's like if it was rain. Imagine it was raining. Imagine it was raining. There's fog, and there's a saxophone in the background.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't do it now. He's made it impossible.
Out the window.
I can't look out the window because you're looking at the back of my head.
I'll turn around. Out the window. Saxophone on.
All right. No, I'm not doing it. That's it. I'm not doing it. We can put it in later.
I'm really sorry for this letdown. I'm really
Liam,
sorry.
you do it. Come on, man.
I'm really sorry for this letdown.
You're the host.
I fully understand if you unsubscribe right now.